Welcome to Justice, a lawyer's hangout, where we dissect legal issues and educate the public on the law. I am Chizaram Lilian Onyike, and here with me today are my colleagues Munirat Adama and Mr. Olalekan Wosede. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
On today's episode, we'll be discussing knowing your rights and when to hire a lawyer, what to do when your rights are violated, and how to report a crime. These are everyday issues, yet many people don't know what the law actually says or how to protect themselves. That is why we are breaking it down today, simply and clearly. Let's dive into it. Barrister Munirat, the first question is for you. What does it mean to know your rights in the Nigerian context? And what are some basic rights every citizen should be aware of?
Thank you very much, Zara. This topic is long overdue.
Okay.
Well, knowing your rights is you being aware of or understanding the freedoms, the entitlements, and the protections that the law provides for you as a citizen in your day-to-day life, or as a resident, or as a person.
Okay.
It's for you to be subconscious on how you should be treated by anyone in how you interact or in your transaction in your day-to-day life, how your property should be protected, how you yourself should protect yourself and also protect the other person that is next to you. So that's understanding your rights in general. And some of the rights you should be aware of as a person. Let's say the first and most important one is right to life. Your right to life, that you cannot take someone else's life unlawfully, neither can yours be taken unlawfully. We have
So do you think that the right to life is not an alienable right?
is an alienable right because it's absolute.
Okay.
Meaning, except you are defending yourself
Okay.
from being killed, you have no right to take someone else's life, regardless of the situation.
Okay.
That's why we have enforcement agencies around. So quickly, not to waste time,
Yes, please.
Liberty. To liberty, meaning you should not be unlawfully detained except otherwise for criminal reasons. Freedom of association, freedom of speech, which we know is not absolute, but however, you still have freedom of speech and the likes.
Okay.
And of course, freedom of right not to be discriminated either by gender, ethnicity, or whatsoever reason.
Okay.
Those are some of the rights we should be aware of as a people.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Olalekan. I'll bring you in here.
Right.
So do you think there are myths or misconceptions that people have about their rights? And if yes, what are they? Like, what are the misconceptions that people have about their rights?
Okay, fundamentally speaking,
Okay.
we should go into the basics.
Okay.
What are fundamental human rights? Fundamental human rights are inalienable rights.
Okay.
They are God-given rights. They are rights that you have because you are a human being. You are endowed with those rights. So in that context, it means that save as provided under the law, those rights cannot be infringed upon. Those rights cannot be violated. Those rights cannot be breached. So speaking specifically to your question,
Okay.
myths or misconceptions, there are a number of misconceptions.
Okay.
One would be that bail is not free. That's a misconception. That's a myth. Administratively speaking, yes.
Really? Because I think in our last episode, the professor was mentioning that bail is actually free, but now you're saying it's
a
not
misconception.
Free.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's a misconception
Okay,
that bail is not free.
Yes.
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 What I mean is that bail is actually free.
Free, yes.
Okay, you are trying to buttress my point by referring to the professor.
No. I was saying that, I was trying to buttress your point, saying that, yes, he said
Yes.
last episode.
You said it's a misconception.
Yes.
And I'm buttressing the fact that it is a misconception for people to believe that bail is not free.
Yes.
Bail is free. Administratively, police bail is free. You can't tie a monetary cost or sum to it. because that would amount to a breach of the person's rights.
Right.
So another misconception is the fact that the rights of the rich are protected at the expense of the rights of the poor.
Poor.
That again is not true under the law. The equality of persons is guaranteed under the law,
Regardless of
regardless of your status, regardless of social
Yes,
stratification.
I agree.
That's not to be discriminated. Hang on.
Yes, you can't be discriminated against under the Nigerian law. That's section 42 of the Constitution.
Yes.
You can't be, your rights cannot be acted upon in a prejudicial manner. It's not possible. So it means that the rights of the rich, the affluent, the privileged, they are as protected as those of the rights of the poor, of the underprivileged, and those are the lower rung of the ladder in society.
Okay.
So that's another misconception. Another misconception that I think is necessary for the purpose of this discussion is that people think that you cannot sue the government. That again is not true. As a private citizen, you can actually sue the government and get redress for whatever issue. Section 36 has made that clear. Section 36 of the Constitution has made that clear. You have that right to have your civil rights being determined by a law court, by a court of competent jurisdiction.
Yes.
So it means that if in any event you feel that your right is likely to be breached or has been breached, you can apply to the High Court of a state for redress. If it's a government agency, no matter the person, the law applies to all spectrum of persons, all spectrum of authorities and powers. So these are some of the myths and misconceptions.
Okay.
I think as we delve into the topic, I will be able to still buttress.
Thank you very much. So, Ms. Munira, the next I'll to come to you. So, at what point should someone consider hiring a lawyer? Do you think they should consider hiring a lawyer before or after the fact?
Yeah. One thing I want you to know is this: to be very much aware of the law is to be empowered. And he was just talking about misconception right now. And I think one of the major misconceptions we have as a people is that you only need lawyer when you're in trouble. Lawyers were not just courtroom warlords or people who go to courtroom to solve issues or solve whatever problems. We're also people who give preventive advice. You can consult us to tell you things to do. What I notice is this: people only seek lawyers when they are in trouble or when things have gone south. They buy properties before they ask for a lawyer when it has gone south. Even when you are living as a human being and you acquire property even without any encumbrance, when you are not even alive, you require lawyers to even know the law on how your property will be distributed when you are not alive. Because nobody can just get up and just carry your property like that. You need one or two things. That's why you need a lawyer to be available for you to know what the law says about even your property. So we are not, you need a lawyer at every point, from the beginning to the end. Sometimes even when the lawyer is there, I'm not saying that it might not amount to trouble at the end of the day, but you will see it coming. And most of the cases, maybe let's say 50-50 or even 60-40, you might even prevent the problem that is even coming just because you have the lawyer at the beginning. So whether it's properties you want to buy, whether it's just, if you can afford it, just the services of a lawyer in your day-to-day activities.
Yes.
It is very important you have a lawyer doing, especially if you're a person who transacts with another human being for whatsoever reason. If you can afford it, you should consult a lawyer. If you cannot afford it to have a lawyer in your corner 247 by virtue of payment or the rest, you should consult a lawyer before you take major steps.
I agree with you, because like you said, in the society today, you see people who buy properties like you just mentioned without consulting any lawyer, and when it goes south, they remember, oh, what can I do? How can I
Yes.
seek redress and this and that?
Yes.
So I totally agree
Yeah.
with your
And
point.
you, Chizaram, I'm aware that you are very conversant with the CAC registration.
Yes, please.
I know you must have had calls. Oh, barrister, please, I'm registering. I'm at this point now. What do I do?
What do I do?
They
Yes.
believe they do not need the lawyer. They will go further, do halfway, and they are coming back for consultation halfway. I'm not saying you cannot do some things yourself.
Yes, please.
But I'm saying they are lawyers are needed at every point in time.
Yes, please.
In the beginning of the transaction, in the middle of the transaction, and at the end of the transaction,
Yes.
whatsoever it is.
I agree with you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for being here. Let's take a short break and we'll be right back.
At LJE Nigeria, we are committed to ensuring justice, equality, and accountability. Reporting a violation helps us to protect rights and uphold transparency. In this short guide, we'll walk you through how to report a violation on our website. Simply start by visiting our website at www.ljenigeria.org. From the homepage, locate the Report a Violation option in the main menu at the top. Once you're on the Report a Violation page, you'll be prompted to select the type of violation you are reporting. This helps us categorize your report for faster and more effective handling. Next, fill in your details. It is essential to provide accurate and clear information so that we can follow up effectively. Once you have completed the form, simply click Submit. You'll receive a confirmation message that your report has been successfully submitted. Your report will be reviewed by a dedicated team of experts and will treat all reports with the utmost confidentiality and work diligently to ensure a thorough investigation. If you have any question or need assistance during the reporting process, please don't hesitate to reach out to us through our contact page. Together, we can make a difference. Visit www.lgenigeria.org to report any violation and join us in upholding justice and accountability.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. To round up the conversation, Mr. Olalekan, the next question is for you. If someone's rights are violated, for example, during a police stop, what should they do in that moment? Because I know I saw a video on TikTok or Facebook of where a policeman stopped an average Nigerian and he slapped him. So I can't really remember the facts of the story, but in that situation, what should he do? What redress should he seek?
Okay. So it is important at that point, if your right is being violated by the men or officers of the Nigerian police or any other law enforcement agent, it is important that safety is of paramount importance, your safety first. So regardless of the provocation, regardless of the issues, you have to stay calm.
Yes.
Staying calm and the ability to not be agitated.
Agitated, yes.
Is key.
Like he actually did. He was calm.
He was. You saw the video.
Yes, he was.
He was so calm.
Yes.
He was so calm, and he didn't even retaliate. His friend kept on telling him, "Sam, come." I think that was his name. Yeah, Sam, come back to the car, come back to the car, and that was really cool.
That's the mindset.
Yes.
To be adopted.
Yes.
You have to stay calm. You have to document the incident as much as possible.
Yes.
This is where your mental power comes into play. Because you can't afford to bring out your phone and start recording at the time. That will be seen as aberration. That will be seen as trying to procure evidence against them. So what you do is to put your mental power into play. Record it mentally as much as possible. Take the details.
Okay.
If you can see because most of the time they have their names tagged on their
uniforms. Yes.
So you can, as much as possible, try to note the name of the officer who actually has violated your right or who has actually assaulted you. Then from there, you should make a formal complaint. You should reach out to. You can reach out to the NBA. You can reach out to the Nigerian Human Rights Commission. You can as well just file an action in court. You have to use the instrumentality of your lawyer, instruct your lawyers. But at that scene, you can't afford to create a
Create
scene.
a scene.
Yes.
So
You can't flee. You can't run. If you run, that is already you are showing that there is something suspicious about you. You know, the police have powers under the law to arrest based on reasonable suspicion. But that reasonable suspicion, after the reasonable suspicion is based on an objective test,
Yes.
right? A reasonable man's test. Once they pose questions to you and you are able to answer those questions reasonably, I think that should be the end of it. But if they go a step further, then you should know what to do. That means that they are already bent on violating your rights.
Violating your
And
rights.
you should not give them that
Okay.
that moment. Go
Okay.
to the court secret dress,
Okay.
identify the officers.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Get damages for the unlawful harassment or whatever it is.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lalekom. It's going to bring you in here. A lot of people are very ignorant of the law and how and what to do. How do you think we lawyers can build awareness and accountability in our community?
One of the ways to do this is to demystify the law. And to demystify the law is one of the things we are doing right now on justice. You know, TV shows, podcasts, radio, to make the citizens aware of this rights, like he's saying. Now, if anybody hear what Mr. Bosede said, he will understand that, next time when the police harass me, I should be calm in the situation, not violence against violence. Yes. So I think lawyers should come up regularly. Maybe the NBA, the FIDA, they should create a TV show, podcast. Now, social media is one of the ways you reach people more.
To create awareness.
Yes, you create awareness and the rest. Another one is, it will go two ways. I will say it in both ways. Let me just say orientation, both to the citizens and to organizations. Lawyers can do legal clinics for orientation for the citizens, small communities, township halls, and also to organizations. A particular organization, I will not mention their name, we have written to them severally without any response from them. Some of these are agencies, some of these are ministries. Do not take these things seriously. So one of the things the lawyers could do, even through themselves as a group of lawyers, individual, or even through the MBA, is to go to these ministries and give them orientation on quick response. Like he said, when the police harass you, you should seek redress. Some people don't even believe that they could get justice if they seek redress. Why? Maybe because of the characters and the attitudes of some of these ministries or avenue which redress is being sought. So one of the things lawyers should do is to pick out the key organizations or key ministries or key points or places where people go to seek redress. Yes. And then give them orientation on attitudes towards them and quick response and rapid response so that people will not lose hope in justice.
Okay.
And even among ourselves also. The last part of it. We should also give ourselves orientations on our attitudes too, towards our job as lawyers to the citizens when they come to us. By that way, I think we'll be able to inform and help the citizen to understand law more.
Wow. Thank you so much for your contributions. We have come to the end of this episode. I'm so glad. I'm so happy that you guys were able to make it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, we are. It's a very short episode.
We are done.
Yes.
I can't afford to leave without bringing to the fore what happened in Ibadan.
Okay.
So the young chap that was killed
Okay.
by a police officer. You know, that brings to the fore these issues. Brutality, police brutality.
Okay.
So there's no way it will be an injustice for me to just leave without spotlighting that. That incident calls for a reflection on, number one, our attitude as citizens. You know, the father, in a bid to beat traffic, he drove against traffic, and there and then he encountered men and officers and the police, I think attached to the Oyo State traffic. management agency. And without proper evaluation of the situation, the police officer decided to just shoot in that arbitrary manner. And the life of the young chap has been cut short. You know why I had to bring it to the fore? Because this child, when I was watching the deceased interview, the deceased father's interview, he said his late son, had hoped to be a lawyer. So it calls for reflection. It calls for retraining and proper training of men and officers of the Nigerian police force.
Yes.
The armed force as a whole.
Yes, if there is a time that the calls for police reform should be at the apex, I think it is. It is this time. It is now, and we need to act. We need to act because I don't want a situation whereby there is a total breakdown of law and order again, as we experienced during the NSAS protests. It is the build-up of aggressions like this, negative profiling of young people at the time, that led to the NSAS protests.
Yes.
Now, in a very uncivilized way, the life of a young chap has been cut short by men who swore to uphold the Constitution, to uphold the law,
And protect the citizens.
and protect the citizens.
Yes.
And you look at Section 4 of the Police Act 2020. It stated here, the police force shall protect the rights of the Nigerian people, of citizens, of persons living in Nigeria, as guaranteed under the Constitution and as guaranteed under the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. So it again calls for reflection. It again calls for sober reflection, and a call for action. I know that your platform has considerable
Yes.
viewership. I want to believe that this will be put out there,
Of course.
so that we can forestall a breakdown of law and order. Because that is what we should do as lawyers. We should always advocate.
Yes.
This is my own way of building advocacy for that particular incident, so that
Yes.
we don't have a repetition.
And to add shortly, I believe the Nigerian police, like he said, this is a time for them to have a reorientation, especially in shooting within where citizens are, ordinary citizens.
That's the truth.
Even if someone invade, let's assume the father was wrong and he invade traffic, I don't think shooting at him is an answer.
wrong.
You just have to just take the plate number.
yes.
Anywhere is in this world, you will
That
get
can-
it.
Okay, you
that
locate
can be
it.
the rule of engagement.
You
If
understand?
police officer
Yes.
aiming at a person
Yes.
like that,
It could not even have been that boy. It could have been any other,
Any other
person.
person.
it's a projectile. A
Yes.
projectile will keep going until it is stopped by an
Yes.
external force. It could be anything.
Yes, could be anything. And
So
I
we need to reflect on this, and I think for me, this is a perfect way for me to.
and I'm so scared, like you said. People are really losing hope in the law. You remember the last episode of Know Your Law we put out there?
Yes.
Someone said Nigerian law is a notebook, full stop, meaning there's no law.
There's no law in Nigeria. Yes, that was what.
So
he
people are losing hope, seriously.
Yes.
Not like they are not aware that laws are written, there's a constitution, there's police act, or the rest, but they believe that it will not work. So a reorientation and serious and massive awareness, both for the armed forces as a whole, not just police, but the soldiers and the rest, all of them should be aware that the citizens are actually running out of hope for
Yes.
justice.
Once they are able
Yes.
to understand that fundamental rights are
Inalienable right.
They are
Yes.
infallible.
Yes.
That's the word. Infallible.
Yeah.
You know, it was Thomas Jefferson that said that. That's the third president of the United States. He said, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they've been
course.
endowed by their creator with certain rights. Among those includes the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So if you are able to digest this into our national consciousness, nobody should be seen offending or brutalizing or infringing the rights of the other citizens.
Normal citizens.
Yes, nobody.
In as much as you want yourself
In
to be
as-
protected,
you know,
you must protect
you
the
must
next
protect
person.
the next person.
Yes.
Where your right stops, another person's right.
Big
Like
things.
someone,
Yes.
someone rightly put, they say, where my nose stop, that's where your right.
Your-
So when my
your
nose
hands.
starts, that's where
your-
your right stops.
Yes,
Yes.
your tongue cannot reach.
Yes,
Just
Yes,
expect
exactly. So
out-
when my nose,
protect
yes,
myself.
exactly.
It draws allusion again to
Yes.
another misconception.
Yeah.
I didn't mention that. I think I have the time to mention it now.
yeah, of course you do.
Freedom
Of
of
course you
expression
do,
is not
yes.
free, is not absolute.
Of course.
It doesn't guarantee that you should say things without that you say things without consequences, right?
Yes.
And that is why the law on defamation
Okay.
comes into comes
Come
into play.
Yes.
You know, if you say things that amount to bullying on the internet, the bullying of an individual on the internet, that's cyberbullying, and that is punishable even under cyber crimes
Act.
Prohibition and Abolition Act 2015, as amended in 2024. So we need to be able to tell ourselves that as much as we express ourselves, because I've seen this, social media will not be the end of so many people. I pray social media will not be the end of so many young people. There was one that came out the other time, I think just yesterday. I won't mention his name. And he was confessing literally to a crime.
Yes.
To
Yeah, the
mention-
musician.
You don't need to. He was confessing to a crime.
Yeah.
Really?
A horrible and criminal crime.
Later, he now said he wants to just draw traffic to himself. That he wants to release an album, so he wants the negative publicity. It's a publicity stunt. How can you be so? How can you say so? He was confessing to rape. So these are the issues
Of a minor,
of a minor. These are the issues.
to make it worse.
These are the issues. Rape of a minor, rape of somebody that is an adult. They are unreservedly condemnable. So imagine somebody doing this for stunts. We need to have this shift in our culture.
Yeah.
The way we embrace the social media culture. We need to have the shift in our attitudes. So for me, I think as a lawyer, I'll keep on pushing. We'll keep on
And
pushing.
advocating, yes.
Yes, we need
Yes.
to push and extend the frontiers of these things. Good
Yes.
governance, human rights, and justice.
Thank you very much for that beautiful input. I really appreciate it. And thank you, both of you, for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. To our viewers, justice begins with awareness, and knowing your rights is the first step to protecting them. Whether it's understanding when to hire a lawyer, how to report a crime, or what to do if your rights are being violated. The law is not just for the powerful, it's for everyone. Join us next time on Justice, a Lawyer's Hangout, and follow us on all social media handles as LJE Nigeria. Until then, bye.